All right.
Alrighty. Everybody, welcome in. Thanks for joining on this Sunday evening to another episode of Fresh Faces in the SFLm, episode 3. Um, Happy to have you all here today. Today, we are here with Josh Gindt of the San Diego Aces. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Pretty much as well as I could go after a Vikings loss.
Yep.
But when you have this little guy in your lap, it's kind of hard to stay down for too long.
Hard to be upset. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm also a Vikings fan, and that was just. Ouch. Ugh.
Yep.
Especially waking up that early in the morning and having to watch that.
Right.
All right, so go ahead and introduce yourself. Off the field, on the field, as far as you want to go.
Yeah. So my name is Josh Gindt, both in game and IRL. Probably not the smartest decision to do that, but whatever. Um, Vikings fan in real life. I'm actually a season ticket holder. And then brand new to the SFL, joining basically during the SFL playoffs last year is when I joined the Discord server. And then uh, in reality, I'm an engineer.
Oh,
Uh,
very nice,
so yeah,
very nice. I have a deep-rooted rivalry with some engineers because I'm a mechanic.
okay,
So there's all, especially I work on vehicles, so it's
yep.
always it's always like, oh, these damn engineers making all these shitty body designs, yada yada yada.
Well, I'm not a mechanical engineer. I'm a computer engineer. So
I
I
say,
form factor is not something I care about.
mm-hmm.
It's usually just a square.
Yep.
We don't have many other choices.
Uh huh. Well, so yeah, thank you for reaching out to come on. I
Yep.
know you had watched some shows previously, and decided take the jump, and I think that's great. Shows you're interested in the league to a point where you're willing to put yourself out there, which I think is great.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of fun with the league in my short time with the SFLm so far. So
Glad to hear that. So, going into this, obviously you're on San Diego. And down in the minor leagues, there's not a whole lot of teams to choose from, as if you have a choice. But there's y'all, San Jose, Birmingham, New York. Then you got Anchorage, and then there's another team. I always forget one of them.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Yep. So I was curious, because all of these teams, the logos, the jerseys, the stadiums, they're all user made. Someone's making these.
Right.
Um, Obviously, how do you feel about your team's branding? And is there any other SFLM branding that you're like, dang, dude, those guys look good?
So I think all of them look pretty good. I would say the one I like the least, even though I still think it's good, is probably the Philadelphia, the
Mm-hmm.
Cougar, right? But I mean, being a Vikings fan, my favorite color is already purple.
Yep.
So the Aces, uh, you know, going off of a purple ace,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't a thing in a deck of cards, but I'll let it slide. It looks pretty good. Plus, all the puns that we get
Oh yeah.
during our broadcasts are super fun to try to keep track of.
Well, I'll
And
tell
yeah, the
you.
house always wins is one that comes up enough a lot, especially with us being unbeaten at home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it fits to perfection. I remember it was. I think it was Goose who started saying it, and now that the track of just continuously winning at home is continuing, it just
Yep.
it rings true. I mean, every week you guys. I compared on your last game. I compared you guys to Albuquerque of the SFL because Albuquerque was a very recent team to join the league, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they went, maybe it might have been 12 or 13, 14 and 0 at home before they finally took a loss. I think they went a whole 1 or 2 seasons without losing at home, and then they finally did this season. So it was like a big deal, and it kind of reminds me of them a little bit because it's just a whole different team when y'all are playing at home. Some home cooking in your own beds.
Yeah.
It's
I
special.
mean, it's just like a casino. It's just a little bit rigged. You can't tell, but somehow it is.
Somehow,
Yeah.
in the back of everything, there's something pulling in your favor. So I was curious. Um, you know, you join into the SFLm. There's a ton of positions you could choose from. Why a kicker? You're the only one in the SFLm.
Yeah, yeah. So that was kind of part of the reason why. Like I
Mm-hmm.
would be the only person, so I could even in like the minor leagues, I can show or like what's the way to differentiate myself
Yeah.
more from other teams just because they have the default kicker, whereas my team, whoever it ended up being, would actually have a real kicker, I guess,
Yeah.
quote unquote. Uh, and I can show how important it is.
Yeah.
And part of that is also growing up a Vikings fan. I've seen a lot of mishaps to do with kickers,
Yep.
and I'm very acutely aware of the nicety that is having a solid kicker. And I, whatever team I end up on, I want to have them have that feeling and not
Yeah.
the feeling that I've had my entire life.
Seattle comes to mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seattle. I guess 1998 I wasn't alive for, but
Mm-hmm.
that will always ring true around here. And then just a bunch of regular season games that
Yeah.
we lost by 1 point and we missed 2 extra points.
Right. Just
It's like
games that
okay,
shouldn't be lost.
yeah.
So, and I guess this is, I mean, not really a. I mean, this will be an interesting question to hear your answer on, but I usually look to see if like my I'm a linebacker as my player,
Mhm.
and someone I wanted to get inspiration from was Luke Kuechly. I chose a number down from him. Oh shit!
Yeah.
And I wanted to make my player really good at everything not physical, if that makes sense. Like
Right. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted my
Luke
player to be
Kuechly
the
just knowing
guy.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted my player to be the guy that just, he was a good leader. He knew what was coming before it happened. Which, looking back now in this game, doesn't make a fuck.
Hmm.
But so looking
Yeah.
back now, obviously, I'm not. It wasn't the best idea. But did you have someone in mind you wanted to make your kicker based around or anything like that?
So I mean, I guess the obvious answer would be like Justin Tucker
Mm-hmm.
or for the Vikings, Will Reichard, who's been
Yep.
amazing this whole career at this point, I guess. But it might sound weird, but you're a Vikings fan, so you would get this. But pre Seattle, Blair Walsh,
Yeah. Yeah. That kick just
where
shut him
I
down.
mean, yeah, but before that, he like set the record for the most 50
Yeah.
yard makes in NFL history to start a career. I think he went perfect his first season from 50 yards.
Damn. I didn't know that.
Uh, he made a whole bunch of clutch field. I mean, his first game, he had to win an overtime winner from like 58
Damn.
against the Jaguars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like everything before that Seattle kick, because even before that one, he made the 3 other field goals that day,
Yeah. Didn't
right?
make
Like
it when it mattered. Yeah.
yeah, and then the mental game because
Yeah.
kicking
I
is like
mean,
80% in your head,
for
anyways.
sure.
He couldn't get past that block, but
Yep.
really, if I was going for anything, it would be that mainly because like that's I think he was also number 3, and that's the number I ended up
I think
choosing.
so. Yep.
I couldn't pick Will Reichard's 16 because I think kickers have to be 1 through 9
Yeah.
in the
Something like that.
SFL.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so I guess it would have been pre incident Blair Walsh, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. I've been a Vikings fan for a good bit. I'm 21, so I haven't. You know, when he was when that happened, I was really starting to get into football.
Hmm.
That's when I was really
Right.
getting into things. And you have season tickets, so I'm assuming you're from Minnesota.
Uh, yeah, I've moved around quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Originally from Minnesota, and then after college came back.
Thank you. Very nice. Yeah, I'm from Oklahoma, and Adrian Peterson was a Sooner. I'm an
Yep.
Oklahoma
Yep.
guy. I told my dad, I said, wherever he's going, that's my team. He
Yeah.
went to Minnesota. It was a stud, and then ever since, I told him I was like, I'm not switching up. That's my guy.
Yeah. Didn't we
So
also have a tackle from Oklahoma around that same time?
probably,
Was Phil Loadholt a Sooner?
I can't remember.
I'm gonna have to look. I just remember we drafted him and he was huge. Like that
Mm-hmm.
was his biggest thing was that he was like 6'8",
Yeah,
340.
yeah. So, and I'm curious because I know the last two people I interviewed were both. Um, and one thing you look at a lot for the league is how to grow it.
Mm-hmm.
And the last two people I interviewed joined through word of mouth. I was curious, is that the same way you found the league, or how did you find it?
Nope, I found the league completely by accident. So I guess if I'm going to flex a little bit here, because that's kind of the point of this, I was coming back from the uh, the World Championships for high school robotics because I mentor a team here where I live.
Nice.
And that night we flew from in where we had to fly back from Houston, Texas, and we didn't get back until like 4 p.m. I just remember like needing to decompress after a long week of like
Mm-hmm.
14-hour days in a room with like 50,000 people in this giant like convention center. And so I just go onto YouTube and I see um I want to say it was Minnesota versus Baltimore in the first round of the playoffs last year
Oh wow. Okay.
or last season. I
Interesting.
think
Yeah.
those were the
Yeah.
two teams. And I was like, I don't even know what this is, but I
Yeah.
clicked on it because it said football, and I'm like, it's April right now. I don't see much football going on.
Yeah.
And then I watched the game, found it very entertaining, and then basically spent the rest of the night going through the rabbit hole of figuring out what this SFL thing was. And yeah, just liking it from there. And I was like, you know what? It's $3 a month. That's whatever.
Yep.
Why not try it?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So
Very nice. Yeah. I there's not many people that I find join the league that way as of late, because the league really grew in COVID. That's when the
mhm.
league took a huge jump, and a lot of people found the league that way during COVID. I myself joined through word of mouth a few seasons back, so um, but it's nice seeing someone that doesn't have any outside influence before joining, being put into a new space and just seeing how they grow as a player and seeing what they can bring to any team that offers them a place.
Yeah, and that I mean, maybe subconsciously that played a part into why I chose a kicker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not if I chose like a quarterback or a running back or something like that, it would be like, oh, we don't know who this guy is, and we have to throw him in one of the most
Right.
important positions on the field.
Yeah.
Now it's like the kicker's an outcast. That's how NFL teams work, anyways. So it's like nobody talks to their kicker until
Mm-hmm.
after they make a field goal.
Right. And
So
well, hopefully that'll change because a lot of these SF and of course I don't know about San Diego's locker room, but typing in chat, hanging out on game day, stuff like that. It's stuff that, to me at least, I'm a GM for Chicago in the SFL. Those are
mhm.
things that are super important to me. So I always like to see my team getting involved, especially my teammates. Getting to talk with them, getting to hang out with them. Just a team that hangs out is a team that's going to get along. So.
Yeah, and I mean we have conversations in like our own Discord server
Mm-hmm.
San Diego has. Um, and that's also where we can talk to the coaches about progression and that sort of thing. We do have like a voice chat for game days that we
Yep.
can all hop into and watch the game together. Um, and unfortunately, that the games fall like late enough at night
Yeah.
here where I'm like, I gotta wake up for 7 a.m. shift in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
or that's when I get into work, 8 a.m., 7 a.m., depending on the day. And
Yeah.
it's just like I'm not there most of the time, but
Yeah.
usually when I'm awake and eating breakfast, I'm watching the match or the game back.
Yeah.
So
I understand. Yeah. No, it's rough because Alex has a super busy schedule, um, and you know, uh, now we're probably going to end up switching to where all three games are going to be on the same day, kind of like how this last week was, where a
yep.
game happens earlier in the day and then same sort of schedule follows. Um, yeah, it's tough because he's got such a busy schedule, and then you've also got to plan around the SFL games and then the UFL, which is another virtual football network product that's on the
Okay.
channel.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
obviously you don't want two big stream games happening at the same time on the channel because then you're going to split viewership, which at the end of the day, who really cares? But
Yeah.
just not to step on any toes. And other thing I was curious on, speaking of the UFL, is there any other sim leagues like this you're in? Because I know there are a ton of them for different sports.
Yeah, no, this is the first one I found and the only one I'm in so far. Um, just kind of seeing how it goes. We'll probably get to it later about the progression scale, but
Mm-hmm.
see what it's like going from the minor league or whatever, bench role, backup, whatever, to a starting role in one league before I try to dabble in some others. But
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, if you are interested, I know there are sim leagues for baseball, hockey. You know,
yeah, I mean, the only sim leagues I'd probably stick with is probably American football and world football, the beautiful game.
mm-hmm.
But that would probably be played on FIFA, and that's almost immediately like the game's gonna suck. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's how people feel about Madden on this new gen. That's why we're on this old game.
right, yeah,
Um, so, you had mentioned how you watch the SFLm games when you can, and you actually mentioned how you originally found it through the Baltimore Minnesota playoff game last season. Do you
yep.
still tend to watch any SFL games as they come out, or shows that happen in the SFL, anything like that, or do you just kind of stick to the SFLm?
Um, so basically, if I have time and I see them on
Yeah,
YouTube, I'll turn on an SFL game. Typically, they're being played during times where like NFL or college games are going,
yeah,
so tend to watch those first. In terms of the shows, no, but I know once I start, you know, once I'm on a team, I'll definitely be watching them more and more.
yeah.
If I don't necessarily need a breakdown of two teams that I'm not a part of, if I'm not there. So if they do one like a pre-show for like the SFLM playoffs, then I'll definitely be in there watching that.
That's interesting. I'll have to.
I have no idea if there is, by the way. I was just like,
No,
I mean,
there wouldn't be, but you know what? That's a good idea. I like that. I'll have to talk to somebody about that. See what we could do. Um, so now here's a big one that we kind of talked about off air, and you had mentioned a little bit. Do you have any? So we'll kind of go down the list of it. So I have a few items that I want to talk about issues
yep,
with, because nothing's perfect. I have my issues with just about whether they're minor or major. I have issues with just about anything. So,
yeah.
as far as, let's start at the top. Of course, even before this, you've heard my voice, and I'm sure you've heard my name before. Broadcasting wise, do you have any issues with the broadcasting, or anything you hear on air, any critiques you might have?
No, I think the main thing I've noticed is that the volume mix between like the commentators' volume and like the game volume is a bit off sometimes. Like
Mm-hmm.
especially end of quarters, the in-game volume is like super loud and just
Yeah,
blares out, and you can't hear
I
like you
gotcha.
guys
Yeah,
talking.
that's an interesting point, because the in-game, like, tackling stadium noises, they're kind of turned down a bit so you can hear us more often than not, and
Right.
they're turned down so that every time you score, you don't hear touchdown Broncos when it's the Gargoyles versus
Yeah.
the
Yep.
Aces, right? So,
Yeah.
and then, but yeah, no, I could definitely bring it up, because I don't watch many SFLM
Right.
games because I'm usually there. If not, then I am watching them in my off time. Um, but yeah,
Yes.
no, I do notice
I
that
haven't
also.
noticed it. I haven't noticed it in the recent games, but if you go to like week one or week two,
Yeah.
at the end of quarters and like 2 minute warning, they'll have like the ESPN
Ba-da-dum-bum,
song on. Yeah, and
ba-da-dum-bum. Yeah,
that is like 4 or 5 times as loud
gotcha.
as you guys. So if you're trying to like continue a point from the previous
Mm-hmm.
play, not a chance we're hearing it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then
Um,
you come back from commercials like, isn't that right? And then your other
yeah,
guy's like, absolutely. And then you
and
have
you're like,
no more content.
okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, uh, and then let's see. Well, the big one, the progression system. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on any and everything involving it.
Yeah,
And
so
do
I
not feel
joined.
afraid to hold back.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is the
yeah.
spot to get it out.
Yeah, so I think the biggest issue I have, I guess, is that because I'm a kicker and there's only 4, maybe 5 attributes that matter, quote unquote. Um, the training camp part, like that happened right before
Yep.
the week 1 for SFLm, being however many points we were allowed to allocate. I want to say it was something like 150
It was
or
like
something,
67, I think.
or 67. I don't know, but that number allowed me to have like a borderline pro kicker before I played any SFLm games.
Yeah.
So I think if I were to look back, I had like a 90 kick power, 85 accuracy, and 65 consistency or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's before taking or showing up on the field for anything.
Yeah.
That feels 70 consistency. Sorry about that. 70. Um, and it's like that seems pretty quick for not having done anything. Um, and now by the end of this season, I'm supposed to have consistency, accuracy, and kick power all maxed out, as well as composure. That starts at like 30. I'll have up to 73 by the end of the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, I definitely see what
That's,
you mean.
tough. At that point, it's like composure and leadership, which
Yeah.
only do so much for kickers.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the only thing I can upgrade.
Yeah.
Feels a bit weird.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, especially considering you hadn't seen the field yet, I could definitely see how that would be, especially for your position. For a linebacker, I could maybe see it, or a defender, see it more making sense. But for a kicker, when you really just have two attributes that mean anything at all, mainly, kick accuracy
Yeah.
and power, getting them up to what 90 and 85 right off the bat, it's kind of like, wow.
Yeah, and then right before the season started, they announced that we can do +6 per week,
Yep.
but only +3 on a specific attribute.
Yeah.
And like, if I'm at 90 kick power and my max is 98,
Mm-hmm.
if I only did power in 3 weeks, 3 games, I already have max kick power.
Yep.
So, it feel like for most of my teammates, quarterback, Dakota White. Is that the right
Close.
name, or am I mixing up people?
You are Dakota West.
Dakota West.
You were
Yeah, because it's
close.
Brady.
Close
It's
enough.
Brady White and Dakota
It
West.
is the infamous one.
And then like Callum Rex, they're going to
Yep.
spend at least 2 seasons in the minors progressing before they can think about, like Callum Rex would probably be the second running back on a pro team after 2 years of progression. Whereas next season, I'm probably just going to walk into whatever team wants me,
And be a
assuming.
starting kicker. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine many teams have multiple kickers on their roster.
I would say
Um,
none.
and I'm not counting having a kicker and a punter as having 2 kickers.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, it's like, okay, I guess it feels weird that because of the position I chose, my development time's cut in half.
Yeah. And that's a good point to make, and something to look at, because this is only the second season that Alex has been in control of the SFLM. Last season was kind of his baby year, and this is his second, trying to flush everything out. And like I said, nothing's perfect. Still trying to work on things. So any critiquing is good, and it's something that you don't really think of in the moment. Like, how is this going to affect a kicker?
Right.
So now that we've
Especially when
got
there's one in the entire league.
and now that we've got to experience that, it's something that hopefully we can make the experience for kickers in the future maybe feel a little bit more rewarding progressing, and not just like, oop, there you go,
Yeah.
And then as far as issues go, is there any other, like, I don't know, anything off the top of your head you could think of besides the progression and anything like that?
Honestly, that's the only one that I've
The big
felt
one.
like noticed. Yeah, the big one. I know the game that's used is 2K3, right?
2K4.
or 2K4.
Yep.
So I know back in ye olden days when that was that year's football game, kicking and like play calling is a lot different than it is now.
Yep.
So like my coach in our chat has mentioned that I like in Sims I can kick 53 yards, and that's with 95 kick power. If 95 kick power is not a 53 in like today's terms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 95 is like, okay, I'm struggling to hit on the 60 yarders at the end of half.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like that's not going to, or it seems like that's not a thing in 2K4, just with whatever slider set or base rules that the game's using.
Yeah.
But also, like, the teams wouldn't even think about kicking
it from
that.
that far. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're really unfortunately not be able to get fixed. Just because, and this makes me think of another. It's an AI issue, is what it is.
Right.
And it brings me to think of the UFL and with how UFL gets run through Madden 20, right?
Okay.
So they started building up that league in COVID using Madden 20, and it's all these years later finally come out. And I think we're in the playoffs now, so the first season's finally rolling around. In that game, Cameron and CJ Zilligan, the creators of it, have found a way to go into the coding of the game and change what the AI does in certain situations. So you fix everything that's shit about Madden, right? The AI and the gameplay. You fix that, and they've been doing a great job. Unfortunately, that you just can't do that with this old of a game. And back then, Cam Little wasn't banging 70-yarders like a god. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean Cam Little probably was like 2.
Yeah, yeah, right.
When
So
2K4 came out,
they weren't even dreaming of nailing 65-yarders with ease. So it's like,
yeah, it's like that was more of a stretch. Like I
no, of
figured
course,
it would be.
yeah.
But I think the big one when this really hit me was in our first game. It might have been like our first drive of the season. We get down to like the 33, 34 yard line, and we punt on 4th down. And it's like, that is never happening in today's game.
No.
And also at that point, I think I had either 90 or 93 kick power. It's like, in my intuition of how these ratings work, albeit from the last 15-ish years of Madden, that's more than enough to make a 50-yarder or 51-yarder. So that was more frustrating because it's like I can see that I've progressed way more than I probably should have, but then my team or like the AI won't even let me use it. So just play calling from the 20 years ago. Yeah.
And that's something that'll always be in the back of everyone's mind when it comes to this league. So, I'm curious, as someone who, like we talked about, could easily be pushed into a starting role. I mean, I'd argue right now, but is there anything that comes to mind that you would expect or you would want out of a locker room atmosphere as a pro? Or even as a minor league player,
Yeah, I mean, my big thing is whatever team I go to has got to be a team that's in it to win it. Which, sure, every team might say that, but maybe I don't know the SFL enough to say it for specifically. But like, if you think about the NFL, every team goes into the season thinking we're going to win the championship, but like, at least half of those teams are like, we're not even going to touch the playoffs.
Yeah, So you want to go to a contender?
I would want to go to a contender because all the reasoning for picking a kicker is to have a reliable rock to have.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the guy that misses in the playoffs because I want to make them. I don't want to not miss in the playoffs because I'm not there.
Yeah.
Did that double negative work? Yeah.
There we
go.
It did. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I'll say that sentiment of like, well, he says no rebuilding teams in the chat, but there are definitely teams that I hate to pick on people, but OKC is a good example. OKC rebranded and rejoined the league last season was their first season back. So they joined back, and I think they had, and this is going to be off by a little bit, maybe 12 contracted players versus
Hmm.
some teams that have 35. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You can't compete. And I think they won one game last season. Um, and there are teams that are consistently pretty bad, and sometimes they'll change the narrative. So you're certainly going to see that come into effect where um, the same type of teams are winning. We've seen Mexico City win back-to-back championships, and is now in the hunt for a third. I'd argue. Uh, Baltimore has won 5 of the last however many.
Yeah.
Um, Alaska/Florida has been a big one. You know, um, so it's like you're definitely going to see that similar narrative um, in this league. But really, all it takes is one piece and some good coaching, and you're in it. You know what I mean? Um,
Right. And I'm not going to like overplay the role of kicker, right? Like I'm not deciding every single game. There will be a few games where you will have, game-winning kick, which I want to be there and step up for. But if it's anything like real life, nobody cares if how many game-winning field goals you made in the regular season. They care how many you made in the playoffs.
yep.
So, um, just I want to be in a contender. So far as like, if the team is not a contender when I'm not on the team, they're not going to magically become a contender because I'm on the team.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm aware of that. So
Yeah,
just put me in the situation, and I'll nuke the ball through the uprights.
there you go. So now, leading on to that similar narrative, is there things that you think you'd expect out of the front office of a team, like owners, general managers, anything like that? Being a player, the things you expect out of them and would want to see out of them.
The ability to answer questions I may have is the big one. Uh, with my team currently, the Aces, we have a couple coaches that are just there to talk through progressions.
Yep.
And that has helped a lot, just understanding all of the attributes. Like going into this, I thought that, or I considered it a little bit, but I didn't think composure was as important as like consistency. But it seems like they're pretty much equal importance. So, um, yeah, just being able to talk through them and like, hey, when you hit 95 on accuracy and power, you can stop there for a bit and make sure everything else
Yep.
increases before you go through. But then also talking through, like we've talked about, how do you actually get acquired by an SFL team after while you're in the SFLm? So we've talked through that, talking through like play calling and game planning while we're watching a game, so sort of showing how that's implemented.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah,
Yeah. Very
and
nice.
also in terms of acquisition, because I'm seeing them mention it a little bit in the chat. Before the SFLm rosters were set, there was like this little free agency talk that was going on in the
Yeah.
SFLm general because I was the only kicker, and everyone was like, or someone was like, "Hey, we'll throw in some fake extra points or fake field goals so you can throw some passes."
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So if there was like a free agency for the SFLm, I would have gotten so many bonuses. But
Yeah.
it's whatever. Obviously, I think I have 11 throw power and 11 throw accuracy. Let's not have me throw it.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it was a fun thing to to think up.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, like you mentioned in the chat, if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. Um, we got time to QB sneak. Yeah. No, I think you'll. Hey, you know what? Go for it. I'd love to see it.
I think I made my guy one of the lightest possible kickers. You're not going to see me on a tush push anytime. So,
So I know we had talked about it a little bit through conversation, but is there anything specific you want to see from your player in the pros or expect him to be able to do consistently?
um, trying to be that guy that's consistent within 50, and
Mm-hmm.
then being one of, if not the best, at 50 plus. Because again, that's sort of just what I want to aim for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and knowing that basically the better I do, the better the team is doing. Not necessarily because I'm doing that, because my team can go into scoring position, or they're kicking a lot of extra points. We're getting a lot of touchdowns. Usually my success is because of team success. So I just want to see my player capitalize on it, however that may end up being.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. So another thing that I always like to mention when I talk to newer people to the SFLm is whenever you go into the SFL, of course your circumstance is a bit different just because you're a kicker, but it
Yeah.
still holds true in my opinion because off the top of my head I can't think of too many kickers that do anything else. I'm sure there are some that I just can't think of, but oh, Ellie for Detroit, obviously, and I'm sure there's others. But anyway, um, something that is, I'd argue, more important or just as important as how good you are on the field is what you can bring to a team off of it. There are so many things that need to be done on a week to week basis, off season, anything like that. I mean, media posts, anything. Oh yeah, camera duty to. Like, is there anything like that you think you could bring to a team?
So uh, I guess can I get a clarification on what camera duty means?
Oh, his name. No,
Well, no, not Cameron duty, but like camera duty. Because I
no,
think that's
there.
what you said.
No, I was just reading his name off. It probably sounded
Okay.
like I said camera duty though.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, no, he does broadcasting. I can't believe I didn't think of him. I call with him every week.
Okay. Yeah, I think broadcasting would be the main thing I'm interested in. I know, uh, what is there? There's like
Yep.
statisticians, or keeping track of team stats, doing social posts. I mean, I'm a numbers guy as being an engineer, but I don't want. I'm not at work. I don't want to deal with them right now.
Yeah, that's understandable.
With the stats. But announcing games, I have some familiarity with that. With some stuff I did in college, so I would be
Very nice.
down for being a broadcaster moving forward.
Yeah, if you ever want to get involved, give me a DM at any time. I mean, I call games. I could uh, talk with the broadcast director, see what we can do. Um, but yeah, so for statisticians, there's a point system in the SFL, and the only thing statisticians do is they sit there live with the broadcasters during the game, and they're like, okay, 54 made the tackle. You click the box next to 54 on that play, and then it'll go
Yeah.
to a stats page we have saying, okay, he got this. But anyway, there's a point system. Each team has to contribute 6 points of stats, or their team gets a payment penalty, and
Okay.
it'll be a fee taken off of their team bank. So it's just a way for more help in the broadcast team, and a lot of people actually really enjoy it. But that's a way to help, and that's the whole stats part of it. But yeah, no, broadcasting's a great way to get involved as well, for sure. Um, so I know you had mentioned you watch some SFL games when you can. I'm curious, and of course they're on the website too. Just seeing them around in media content, whatever it may be. Are there any SFL teams in particular that have caught your eye, just branding wise, or how they play the game? Maybe that you're like, you know what, I could see myself in that jersey, or dang, those guys look clean out there. Anything like that?
Not particularly. Because again, I'm still sort of learning the teams,
Yeah.
and being that I just want to join a team that's contending. Uh, sometimes that changes year to year. There's only so much to take from past performances. But I've had a few teams reach out to me about this upcoming season, so I'm more
Very
keeping
nice.
track of those teams. Not
Yeah.
gonna name them here, but
Yep. You shouldn't. You shouldn't name them
yeah,
to anybody. You shouldn't tell anybody.
exactly. So just trying to keep track of like the teams that are already interested in me. I like to think that they have some good taste in kickers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they're already noticing, that's good. But
Yeah. A
yeah,
lot of
just seeing
GMs
what I
like to
can.
get started early.
Yeah.
make sure they have a jump on the competition when it comes to recruiting for sure. So, um, now, I know you had mentioned how you've talked to your general managers and coaches maybe about how game planning goes. Um,
Yep.
having to submit offensive and defensive books every week that you'll use on the field, running simulations of the actual game being run.
Yep.
A lot goes into it more than people think sometimes. Um, is that something you think you could ever find yourself being interested in?
Um, so in terms of developing game plans, um, I usually end up being like, I guess it depends how specific the game planning ends up being. Like, do they actually break it down situational or situation wise, down in distance, that sort
So
of thing?
it's more of a, if I'm understanding right, and maybe we can get some second voices on it in the chat. But if I'm not mistaken, it's just putting in formations and plays that you like in certain down and distances, seeing what gets used when,
Yeah.
and then basing it off of that. I could be wrong. I'm not a coach. Uh,
Right. I I think there's like a fine line there for me where it can be not detailed enough to the point of like it feels like I'm not actually doing anything, or it's too detailed and fine grained where it's like well then it's going to take forever to try to build a book. I can definitely help with simulations. I have a
mhm.
PC that can easily run any emulator. Um, but in terms of like developing the game plan and then running the sim, I don't know how available I'd be for that. But if it's just like, hey, here's some books, run the sim, that I can do.
I mean, let people know that for sure. People running sims is always something people want. And yeah, like you see, each play. That's what I thought. It's just different formations, substitutions, and
Yeah.
plays. That's what I thought. Yeah, these guys would know more than me.
Yeah, I know Devil's Arc runs a bunch of sims and sometimes streams them in our San Diego Aces Discord server. So
Very nice.
Callum Rex is always asking for more games,
Yeah.
sims to be streamed.
And then
But I try to.
Ryan Davis coaches for Anchorage also in Queen City in the SFL, so he's very knowledgeable. But yeah, like I said, they would definitely know more than me. I just I have a job where I go talk to people and try and get them to come over. That's about
Right.
it. But yeah, and you said you were interested in broadcasting a little bit. Um, you know, as a new broadcaster, something we've started doing is having them start down in the minors a little bit, just because it's more laid back, if you will.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, so, is that I imagine you'd want to call SFLm games. Is there like a specific role you think you'd excel better at?
Um, I would probably need more practice on play by play.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would be pretty good at color commentary already.
Yeah.
Um, just from previous experiences, that's more of what I was doing. Play by play, like I don't want to say it's easy or hard. It's just you have to get used to it, and then you can kind of get into the flow of announcing a game.
Yeah.
But I just haven't gotten there yet.
In my personal
So
experience, I think play by play is easier, in my personal opinion.
I know typically with like color commentary, you need to know the entire roster sheet before the game if you
Yeah.
really want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Play by play, you can kind of get away with, not necessarily knowing the defense. It's just like, wow, that's a big hit made by
Number 5. Yeah,
22.
number 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a lot of, thankfully, thanks to J.W. Hartshorn, and he does a ton of work making. We have little cheat sheets we have that have the whole rosters up, stats, records, leaders among the league. He puts
Yeah.
in a ton of work for that each week, and that's really why we sound so smart. Is bringing
Right.
out random stats. You're like, how does this dude just remember that Jordan Goodman has this many yards off the top of his head. I don't. It's right
Yeah.
there in front of me, written down. So
Yeah,
it's
and I remember watching those first playoff matches, like those, like the regular season stats were being named off, and I'm like, okay, if they already have those on the, at their fingertips,
yeah.
there's at least some production quality here
Oh
that
yeah.
you know
It
you wouldn't
that
necessarily expect by picking any YouTube stream, which is basically what I was doing.
yeah, that is something I that a lot of people don't get, and especially at first glance. Cam, the
Hmm.
guy that runs the SFL, he is a pro. He is legit. He taught Alex to do what he does for the SFLm. Alex bought a computer to do it. He had to
Yeah.
go to Cam's house in person to learn how to do this. It's not just, and he's making graphic pops up and all this and all that, making the sound cues go off, changing the graphics to make the timeouts go, the scores, all that sort of
Yep.
stuff. Um, and it's, I'm actually going to look up. I'm super curious to see who called that first game that you watched, just because I'm curious who got you to stick around and go down that rabbit hole um, of the league. Of course, I'm not going to find it because the search. Oh, yeah, no. But yeah, no,
Oh,
it's.
I said Minnesota Baltimore. That was the second game or second round game. It was Minnesota Carolina was the
Oh,
game that I first saw.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I'll never find that. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, the season 24 playoffs. It's about 5 months ago. It's Ramos Lynn is who you were listening to.
Okay.
And then. Yeah, no, he's a stud. You know,
down situation. This is
and Brett Killian. That's who that is. Okay. So yeah, I was just curious. So yeah, no, those two guys are insane. I love both those guys to death. And another thing that on the surface isn't something that's talked about a whole lot until it's happening. Like if you go on the SFL website and you just like look at the homepage, for example, like one of the first things you see is like pictures of people in the league. Like
Right.
you see posts about it, right? I mean, um, this year it happened in July in Baltimore. Like there is a convention every year
Yep.
where
Yep.
people meet up, right? Like I said earlier, I think I've been in the league since season 20 is when I joined, maybe season 21. SFLm season 6 is when I was in the minors, so about
Okay.
5 SFLm seasons ago. Um, and in July, that was the first time I got to go to a convention. And man, this league is good from the base level. Once you go there and you meet the people you're talking to every week on your team, you're sitting there watching a game with each other, high fiving, drinking some cold ones, hanging out, having a good time, meeting all these people you see on shows. It is like a whole nother level. It really brings out what this league is to me, and I hope if it seems like you're really intrigued with the league and you enjoy it a lot. So, if you do stay for a while, hopefully I get to meet you at a convention someday, because they're a blast.
Yeah. I watched a few of the stream because it was like week one of the SFL season was
Yep.
broadcast live from there,
Yep.
right? I watched a few of the games that were that week,
Yeah.
and like the lobby
Yeah.
stream
Yep.
of seeing everyone watch it. That seemed like a blast.
Yeah, it was great.
Um, when I first joined the league, I saw that there was the convention and that they were still selling hotel
Yep.
tickets or
Yep.
whatever, hotel rooms. And I was like, okay, let's just see what this is. And I was like, okay, that might be too big of an investment for someone who hasn't been in a game yet. But
Yep.
yeah, I'll probably be going to the conventions. They're during a pretty tame time in with robotics and work,
Yep.
so making
Very
that
much.
trip out should be pretty easy wherever. Well, I guess it depends where it is.
Yeah,
If
they're
it's in
all over the
Minneapolis,
country.
then I don't even have to take off work for the
I
probably.
will say there are people trying to get it done in Minnesota.
That would be
There are.
sick.
Um, I haven't really kept too much into depth of where it is because, if I'm being truthful, They could have it in fucking Melbourne, England at this point. I'm gonna go. I'll get a passport and go. I don't care. I'm
That would
gonna
be
make it
impressive.
to a
I don't think
convention.
there's a Melbourne in England, but yeah,
They'll make their own city. They'll get it done.
right. Yeah,
They'll make
the
you know
SFL city in who knows where.
the SFL city and SFL Island.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, it's just it really shows to me and why, in my opinion, this is the best sim football league on the planet. I don't think anything matches up to it as far as production quality, as far as broadcasters. Like, we have broadcasters that I think could go get a job as professional broadcasters somewhere. That before this were just regular dudes sitting on the couch. You know what I mean? And now they're,
right.
I'd say, elite level broadcasters if you come to mind in the SFL. But it's just a whole nother level here with the production quality, really.
Yeah, it's been a few years since I've done commentating on football. I did some in high school, but actually, and this was I mentioned before we went live that I had to bring out a prop because if this was brought up, nobody would believe it.
Yeah.
But my most recent broadcasting experience is actually in esports. Because when I was in college at Michigan Tech, I was a varsity esports athlete. So
Oh,
like I got a
wow.
scholarship to play video games. So, you know,
So what did you play?
Overwatch
No shit.
was my game. So, if anyone knows Michigan Tech from watching college hockey, because that's the only sport they're D1 in, they might recognize that logo. And then my gamer tag there, Mr. Got Game, is
Heck
so
yeah.
my old esports jersey. But yeah,
Okay. So now I gotta know who
scholarship
you
for
played.
Overwatch.
Now I gotta know who you played.
Yeah, so I was an off tank. So Diva, Wrecking Ball, Hog, Zarya, Sigma.
Hmm.
It depends how much you know of the game. I can keep going,
Oh
but
no, I was playing Overwatch probably an hour before we. That was the first. That's what I was doing before I hopped in call with you. Actually,
gotcha. Yeah, no,
just got back into it.
I don't play the game anymore.
Oh yeah.
I got out of the Stockholm syndrome. I felt, now that I'm not getting paid or getting a scholarship for playing it,
Yeah. You're like, why
kind
would
of
you?
loses its purpose.
No, I feel the same way. I used to cook professionally, and now
Hmm.
someone's like, why don't you just cook? I'm not gonna cook.
Yeah,
I'm not getting paid to cook. Why would I cook? You
exactly.
know what I mean? I completely
Yeah.
understand. Yeah, no, I'm a support. I play
Okay.
I am a life weaver. That's it. I don't switch.
Gotcha.
I don't do the switch watch. I just play him. He's fun. I like trolling my friends. Like, they're trying to get a quick start on the payload, and I know this is a dick move. That I did this to one of my buddies in ranked. He was gonna diva bomb over the payload, and I pulled him back, and he just used it right there. Oh, he was so mad.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I don't blame him. That was a dick move.
Uh, yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That if one of my supports ever did that, phew, we would there would be fist fighting in the
Yeah.
esports facility
Oh
for
man.
sure.
So did you play when the second one came out, or was it the first one still?
It was still the first one,
So this
so
was the 6-6.
yes. So part of the reason I stopped playing was because they went down to 5v5
Mm-hmm.
because my role of off tank is basically the one that got
Gone.
removed,
Yeah.
going from 2 tanks to 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started playing when I got to college is when I started playing. And then in the first 2 years going into the first COVID lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
I got good enough to make the varsity team.
Very nice.
So I went from what would I think I started in silver and ended high masters by the in those 2 years,
Very nice.
and then made GM and top 500 from there. But it was all just learning the game, and I never got to play the game for fun, which is sort of part of also why I
A
stopped
damper
playing
on it for
afterwards.
you. Yeah, that makes sense. What college was it?
Michigan Tech.
Michigan Tech. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have to. Where can I find a game of that? YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
they
to go
played
look
this
it up.
past Thursday, Wednesday.
When would you have played?
Oh God, do they still have those streams up? I hope not, because I know they switched from Twitch and YouTube. Last games I would have played Twitch just decided to play with music on. Would have been in fall of 2022, just before the game came out. But yeah, I don't know if because I know Twitch does not save VODs that long.
No, they don't.
They might have been re-uploaded to the YouTube channel. Let me see about. If I just go oldest videos, 2 years ago. No, this would be September 2023 is the first VOD I see. Which at that point I was doing half and half. Basically, sometimes I would be broadcaster, other times I would just be like the cameraman, swinging around during the maps to try to get the best view of the action for the broadcasters.
Nice. So you've actually done broadcasting.
Yes.
Like legit. Okay. Yeah, you should definitely you'll be able to find his Discord somewhere, and I'll because I'll definitely I think that'd be dope to get you in on a game, especially with experience. I mean, you don't have to have it, but it always helps.
Yeah,
it'd be dope to get you on a game. I can get you in touch with our broadcast director of the league. See what he thinks. But yeah, man, we're just about right over an hour, and at this point, we're just chilling, being dudes.
Yeah. So since you're a Vikings fan, you might recognize this name, but I also grabbed while I was looking for props one of my two like rare Vikings pieces of memorabilia.
Okay.
This one's rare just because I don't think anyone ever actually bought this jersey. My other one's rare is because it's I have a signed Christian Darrisaw jersey.
Oh, very nice.
But this one,
no, I don't.
So this guy, Moritz Boehringer, he was the 6th round pick for the Vikings 2016, 2017, somewhere in that range. And he was the first ever player drafted straight out of the European Football League. So not like NFL Europe, but from a football league in Europe. He was playing in Germany, and he was like 6'4" and could run like a 4.5. Like that's why the Vikings drafted him. Dude's huge.
Yeah.
Didn't end up cutting it in the NFL, I think mainly due to injuries. But he was the first player to get umlauts on their jersey. So that's the two little dots above the O.
Oh, wow.
First ever player to have that accent in the NFL. And when I was at that time, I was in high school taking German classes, learning German. So that was like basically my two worlds colliding. So I got that jersey as soon as it was available and announced that it would actually have the umlauts. But yeah, that's probably my rarest piece because I don't think I've ever seen anyone else wear that jersey.
Yeah,
just because why would they?
Yeah, you made that guy's year buying his jersey. He's like, hold on, I got a sale? Hold on.
Yeah, that wasn't in Germany. I'm sure that he was the most sold shirt in Germany for the time that he was there. But yeah, just why did this kid in Chicagoland buy a Vikings jersey or buy my jersey? Yeah, I was really hoping he worked out, or else that would have been my greatest purchase of all time.
Right. Yeah,
right next to the buying a Stephon Diggs jersey about 30 minutes after the Minneapolis Miracle.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. Man, I still remember that play. I cried when that happened. I was watching in my dad's room, and I just started crying. I was like, no way that just happened. I couldn't believe it. And
there was a lot of screaming in my house.
My best friend is a Saints fan. So, yeah.
Hey, he got us into 09.
He sure did. Yep.
And they got a Super Bowl out of it, so.
Yep. Yeah, you had the miracle.
Then Diggs' career was never the same.
Nope. He was in Buffalo. Him and Allen just.
Diggs was good until we traded him.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He fell off a lot low, and then he's fallen off even more since. But
yeah,
Hey, we got an upgrade receiver. We got Jefferson out of the deal, so.
Yeah, we did. And Thielen's back in Minnesota now. Old
Thielen.
But yeah, I remember the Minneapolis Miracle, of course, and then there was that Kyle Rudolph push-off touchdown in the corner of the end zone. If you remember that,
Hey,
didn't get
perfectly
called.
legal.
Didn't get called.
Perfectly legal. There
Yep,
was, you know,
it's perfectly legal because there wasn't a flag.
if yeah, perfectly legal. Clean hand fighting involved.
Yep,
The fact that one guy is 6'4", 240, and the other guy was like 5'10", 180
not our fault.
just made it was just,
Yeah.
exasperated the seemingly like a push off, but
Mm-hmm.
clean hand fighting there, guys.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, man. Uh, no, I think I have a. I say this like anyone would probably remember him. Oklahoma had a Heisman QB named James White. Um, when I was much younger, I got a signed Heisman jersey from him.
Okay.
Then I have an Oklahoma football signed by. Um, I know DeMarco Murray's signatures on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's one of those things where a bunch of people on the team just signed the ball. I can't think of anyone else. I think Trent Williams might also be on there. Trent
Okay. Yeah.
Williams, you know, whoever else, because I was a young kid. I was like, oh heck yeah, man. And then eventually, when I tried to play with it one too many times, my dad was like, nope, give me that, and put it in a glass case that now
Oh yeah.
sits in the office downstairs, reasonably so.
Yeah. My dad, who was a season ticket holder before I was born, has a game, or not a game ball, but one of those collectible ball
Mm-hmm.
footballs that is signed by most of the 1998 Vikings team.
Very nice.
So he's like, "You are never touching this.
Yep.
It stays in its
Don't touch it.
box,
Yeah.
and it's a glass box, so I can still see all the signatures and everything. But it's like,
Yeah.
you are not touching this thing.
So
When I die, you sell this. Okay, that's your inheritance."
right. Yeah. So, you being to Minnesota games, um, what like your best moment at a game in person? In
Is it
person specifically.
right in person? So this is my second year with season tickets
Okay.
since I've come back here from college. But I was at the Cincinnati game, and watching the greatest ever defensive game by Isaiah Rodgers was pretty darn cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was one game I went to. Actually, okay, I have two more moments. One, it was a game at TCF Bank when they were there temporarily, where I think it was a Sunday night football game. It was some sort of night game where we were hosting the Giants,
Okay.
and I think we beat them 49-14 or something like that. Harrison Smith had a pick six. I just remember being like frozen because it was probably like -15 wind chill at kickoff
Yep.
before it got dark. There at the stadium. That was awesome. Plus, seeing Harry the Hitman get a pick six
Yeah.
always warms a Vikings fan's heart.
Yep.
And then the other one is back in 2010 when the dome collapsed.
Wow.
The Vikings had a home game in Detroit
Yep.
against the Giants, and my dad, who growing up was always like you must do your schoolwork, you can't miss a day of school no matter how sick you are, that kind of parent. He saw that the tickets were first come first served to that Vikings Detroit game on like a Tuesday, I think it ended up being, and he was like, "All right, I'm taking you out of school for 3 days. We're going to this game."
Hell yeah.
So,
Hell
because so we had to drive, so like Chicagoland, or where I was in Chicagoland at that point, to Detroit's like 8 hour, 9 hour drive in good weather, but
Mm-hmm.
it was like a harsh blizzard. I mean, that's why the dome collapsed.
Yeah.
So we had to like stay a night in Kalamazoo and then finish the drive to Detroit just to uh, wait and go into Ford Field there. But those two games, ironically, both against the Giants, are probably my favorite memories. But seeing Isaiah Rodgers ball out
The
against the
Bengals.
Bengals is
Heck
pretty
yeah.
cool too.
Yeah, I've only been to one Vikings game. We went on my it was maybe my 17th birthday. Um, Minnesota was playing in Dallas, so we go down to Jerry
Yep.
World, and man, we won. I know that,
Okay.
but man, this was when we had Cook, and this was when Amari Cooper was still a Cowboy.
Yeah. So is this the game? we wore like our purple and gold shirts,
Maybe.
and I think like Eric Kendricks had a game-winning like deflection. Eric Kendricks, was it that year?
Maybe. Man, it's so
I think
it's
this is just
crazy.
showing how much of a Vikings fan I am, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure I remember the exact game that you would be talking about because that was
and it's
about
so
4 issues.
crazy because like I was there and I can't even I can hardly remember.
Yeah.
So let's see. This is the last 10 years of us playing. 20. It would have had to been 2019. 2019, 28 to 24 versus the Cowboys, November 10th. Yep, that's exactly what it was. 28 to 24, 2019. So that would have been what, 6 years ago now.
Yep.
So I was 15. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was 15, and we went up there, and it was awesome. I remember my dad wanted to like so we were way up because
You
we
just
didn't
get
want
whatever
to.
seats you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which still great view in
Oh yeah.
Cowboy Stadium. Um, we start walking down these seats, and it's like straight down the steps at the top, and I'm like scared because all these people are jumping and hoo-hawing, and we're going down, making our way, and we get down to the second level where we would have exited to the garage, and like the big exit walkways. It's like a big
Yep.
cement staircase people go down. Um, we got right there at the exit, and we watched the final drive, and we either made a stop or got a first down that sealed it. And I was like, yeah. And I was talking to my dad, and I was like, oh, we're winning this shit. And this Cowboys fan is sitting there, and he looks at me. He's like, it ain't over yet, son. And then spits on the ground. And then we won. Um,
Average Cowboys fan
yeah.
experience.
And
Yeah.
my memory from that game was what, because I had my Vikings jersey on. None of my family is Vikings fans, just me. My
Yep.
dad's a Niners fan. My mom and brother, they were just there because it's an NFL game. Hell yeah. But
Sure.
my dad's a Niners fan though, and we're walking down that exit, and I'm wearing my Vikings gear. All these sad Cowboy fans are walking home, and every once in a while, I'll see another Vikings fan, and we're like,
Yep.
yeah, and we'll fucking high five, and everyone else is like, fucking pieces of shit. You know what I mean? But as far as like um, best moments, I was way younger than I am now, and I live an hour west of Oklahoma City, and we went to go see a Sooners game, which is in Norman,
Okay. Yep.
um, and it was against Baylor. This is before we had Mayfield. Our QB at the time is named Blake Bell. He
Yep.
played for Kansas City, uh, you know, and
Had a cup of tea in the league, and that was it.
yes, pretty much.
Yep.
Um,
Would they have had
Samaje Perine
RG
was their
three?
back. Yes, yes, it was
Yeah.
against
Okay. Against,
RG3. So I saw
yeah.
Robert Griffin play. We kicked the shit out of Baylor. Samaje Perine, he's on the he would have been at that
Yep.
on that Bengals team. He ran for
Yep.
probably 250. He was dominating. And Blake Bell, so for the Chiefs, he was a tight end. He got a Super Bowl with them, actually. I think he was in a few plays in their big year that they won the championship. But anyway, he was our quarterback. And everybody called him the Belldozer. Everyone had these what are they called? Hard hats. These yellow hard hats
Right.
they
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
sell at the stadium for the
Nice.
Belldozer, and he broke off for it was a QB sneak up the middle, and he just took off for like 80 yards, and it was crazy, dude. We were getting lit, and I'm actually going to another Sooners game next Saturday against Kent State. But
Okay.
besides that, I was at the there was a Texas Tech Oklahoma game that was like 70-66 that I went
Is that
to.
the legendary game against Pat Mahomes and
It
Baker?
it was, yep, yeah. I was
Hell of a game.
I was
No
there.
defense.
Yeah,
If you like defense, it's the wrong game for
yep,
you.
it was, and I didn't care. It was great. But yeah, I was at that game. I don't really remember it as much because I was sick, but I was still there and I was loving it. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I have when you mentioned Oklahoma, I have a bone to pick with Samaje Perine.
Oh, do you?
So with college football, I grew up in this weird situation where I was both a Minnesota Golden Gopher fan and a Wisconsin Badger fan, which like those are hated rivals.
Mm-hmm.
They have the most played rivalry in FBS. They play for a 6 foot axe. Like clearly they don't like each other.
Right.
But I grew up a fan of both. And basically, what I would do is for the game between the two, I would just pick whoever was home for who I wanted to win. It was pretty much my rule of thumb. But the Badgers had a running back, guy named Melvin Gordon,
Yep.
who
Yep.
playing 3 quarters against a nearly ranked Nebraska team ran for 408 yards.
Golly.
And that broke the FBS record for rushing yards set by LaDainian Tomlinson like 15 years prior, right? Like a record that not because like in college the offense has escalated ever since then. The fact that there was an offensive record that stood for 15 years was insane.
Yeah.
And then the next week, and like he did it in 3 quarters because they were resting him. Just because the fourth quarter it was a blowout, didn't have to play him. The next week, Samaje Perine plays against Kansas when Kansas is garbage.
Yeah.
And he gets like 420 yards, breaks the record the next week. But okay, he's playing a worse competition. He actually played all 4 quarters. Like, sure, but that's still Melvin Gordon's record in my eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, he was averaging probably 20 yards a carry that game. It was insane.
Wow. Yeah, I'm curious if that still holds to this day.
It should be. It should still be P. Ryan's record.
Let's see. 427 yards set by Samaje Perine. November 22nd, 2014 against Kansas.
Yes.
Yep.
So it was like November 15th.
Yeah.
The Saturday before.
Yeah. Melvin Gordon, Wisconsin, 408 yards, November 15th. LaDainian Tomlinson before that. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's one of those stats that's insane to think about. Like,
poor Melvin.
I don't know if you've. Yeah. If only his knees held up, but he was a damn good running back.
I remember him as a Bronco, I feel like. Was he a Bronco?
Yeah. He was primarily a Bronco as well as a little bit of time on the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that, especially running backs seem to have the most obscure stats. Like, I don't know if you've seen Derrick Henry still has not rushed for his
stats, and he hasn't hit it.
Yeah, he still has more rushing yards in high school than he does in the NFL. This is like his 10th season.
Yeah, me and my dad were just talking about the other day, and he was like, that can't be right. And I was like, that's right.
Well, I mean, I think Derrick Henry's high school coaches need to be tried for cruel and unusual punishment. I mean, like, he would have like 50 attempts a game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, of course he would average 250, but like, seriously, the CTE on Derrick Henry's brain is going to be next level.
Yeah.
Which is obviously terrible to say, but
yeah,
50 yards or 50 attempts per game. Are you kidding me?
Well, you've got, little Jimmy just getting out of 7th period English. And then he's like, Coach, who are we playing this week? Oh, whoever so with Derrick Henry. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. How many people quit football because they had to play against Derrick Henry?
I would have quit before the game. I would have quit before the game.
Yeah, if you didn't know, or if you knew him beforehand, absolutely. Yeah. But if you didn't know, just you're the middle linebacker, have to meet him in the hole. Just take your helmet off and just keep walking.
Yeah, no.
I also like how many people on his own team quit football because they had to tackle him in practice.
Yeah, and then they just weren't playing.
Yeah,
it's like being a receiver at Army.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a blocker.
Yeah, it's like, what do you even do?
Right.
Well, you say, but like Georgia Tech was a triple option offense for the longest time, but they had Demarius Thomas and Calvin Johnson come through during that time.
Yeah.
So it can happen.
Yeah.
Maybe not with the service academies, but
yeah, right.
I mean, if Calvin Johnson can become Megatron while going to Georgia Tech triple option, anything can happen.
Yeah, it's a crazy stat. But yeah, man, everybody that came in today and hung out, chilled out, didn't get many questions this go around, but that don't really matter. I have plenty, and I can always talk. Well, I appreciate you joining, Josh. It was a pleasure getting to talk with you. Hopefully you'll get some DMs from teams. You know, wanting to sought after your talent and capabilities
Yeah,
off the field as
only
well.
kicker in the league. So
Yep,
if you want a kicker, there's only one.
that's right. If you need a kicker, this is your guy. But yeah, man. Of course, I'm DJ Kilgannon. This is Josh Gindt. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a great night.